Hey there, RezaieStrong followers. So I took a break for a few months and decided to start recording again. Just needed a break to work on myself, and I thought we would start with another trial that just came out on intermittent fasting. So this was basically published in this journal called JAMA Network Open just this past year, and it's effective time-restricted eating on weight loss in adults with type 2 diabetes, a randomized clinical trial. And basically the question these authors were trying to answer is intermittent fasting without calorie counting more effective for weight loss compared to daily caloric restriction in adults with type 2 diabetes mellitus? So here's what they did. This was a 6-month randomized clinical trial of people that were 18 to 80 years of age. And to be in this trial, you had to be overweight and you had to have type 2 diabetes. And then patients got randomized to one of two arms. The first one is they did intermittent fasting with a 16-hour fast and an 8-hour window to eat with no calorie counting. So basically in the window that they were eating, they could eat whatever they wanted. And then for the calorie restriction, they reduced their caloric intake by 25% every day. The outcomes that they were looking at, so what this study was powered for was weight loss by 6 months. But other outcomes that they were looking at were a decrease in their hemoglobin A1C, decrease in their waist size, and whether they were adherent to the diet that they were randomized to. 75 patients enrolled. The average age was about 55 years. The mean body mass index, or BMI, was 39, and the mean hemoglobin A1C was about 8.1%. So if we look at their primary outcome, what the study was powered for, and we look at weight loss, at the end of 6 months, intermittent fasting did better than caloric restriction, 8.5 pounds versus 5 pounds. If we look at hemoglobin A1C, there was no difference whether you got randomized to one arm or the other. And same thing for waist circumference. There was really no difference in waist circumference. But this is the kicker for me. People who did intermittent fasting were more likely to adhere to it than people who did caloric restriction, because it's just easier to restrict yourself of time than it is to restrict yourself of calories, in my opinion. So my thoughts on intermittent fasting, which I've been doing for the last 4 years, is it's free and it's simple. It allows for you to consume foods that you're familiar with instead of having to figure out what's allowed and what's not allowed, and only requires that you count time, not calories. So for those of you who are diabetic and you're using sulfonylureas or you're on insulin, I would talk to your physician before starting intermittent fasting, because it does require medication changes and very regular glucose monitoring, because the last thing you want to have happen is for your sugars to drop. So the clinical bottom line is intermittent fasting at a 16-hour fast to 8-hour window to eat without calorie counting is an effective alternative strategy for weight loss compared to daily caloric restriction. And in this study at 6 months, intermittent fasting led to greater weight loss and people were more adherent to it. So there you have it, another study on why we should be considering intermittent fasting. Please leave me your thoughts, comments, and questions. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.